Hi there, everybody. My name is Zach Cleaver. Today we will be talking about the IDEA and you as a parent, which is an overview of your rights as a parent with a student with special needs. Today we're going to cover 8 main objectives. We're going to talk about parent participation, the definition of a parent in regards to the state of Kansas, parent's right as a special education notice, prior written notice, parent consent, parent consent if not provided. So what do we do if we can't get a hold of you for consent? A notice of IEP meetings and how you can be a part of that, and the rights of parents with gifted students. So let's talk about your role as a parent. What are we looking for? Well, first off, as soon as your student enters our school, you are part of his or her decision-making team. Okay, you will be an intricate part in his educational path. You are also a member of his or her IEP team. And what that means is you not only play a role as their parent, but you also play a role as what will go on in the school and giving us some insight on what you think can be best suited for your child. You will also participate in all the meetings and in your child's education, and you're providing some essential input that we as educators and as administrators might not know. So you do play a huge role in this process. And last but not least, you are an advocate of your child. No one is going to fight harder for your kid than you. And that's what we need. And that's what we need in these meetings. And that's kind of your role as a parent in this special education system. Now, what is a parent? Well, according to Kansas, a parent can be a natural parent, so a biological parent. It can be an adoptive parent. It can be a person acting as a parent, so someone who has taken on the role of a parent for a child. It can be a legal guardian. It can be someone who has been appointed as an educational advocate, so somebody like a counselor or anybody in the education field that has a sense of parenthood with your child. Okay, and it could be a foster parent. So if that foster parent has been appointed as an educational advocate of the exceptional child. Let's talk about why and your rights in getting noticed about stuff that's going to happen in special education. What do we have to do? What do we have to tell you? And what should be information that is getting passed along to you? First off is if any type of evaluation is going to take place, you will be notified. This can come upon referral from us, or it can be requested by you. But in case that happens, you will be notified in advance of the evaluation that could be taking place. The other thing is you will be notified on any complaints that take place. So any formal complaints that take place and anything that happens like due process or anything like that, you will be notified on that. And then last but not least, you will receive a notice in case of any disciplinary removal. So this can also come at a parent's request, so it doesn't have to necessarily come before the disciplinary removal, but it can also come at a parent's request as well. Prior written notice. This is a very big issue because what we don't want to do is we don't want to surprise you out of nowhere and say, hey, there's stuff going on and it's tomorrow. So our job as a school is to give you notice in a reasonable time frame. That way you as a parent can be prepared and can take off work and can make sure you're there. The first thing is identification. If anything is going to be changed in regards to your child and how they're being identified, then you will be notified in a reasonable time frame. You will be told about the meeting, where it's going to be, or any service that is going to be changed due to a different identification of your child. Last but not least, or second, I guess, is the evaluation process. Any type of evaluation that gets put onto your child, you will know in a reasonable time frame and can be there. This mostly is due to educational placement. So anytime that we're thinking about a different placement plan or something like that, you will be notified and can come and actually participate in this process. And then last but not least is the FAPE. Basically, any provisions or services that have to change on our end, you will be notified in a proper time frame. And that way you as a parent can either ask questions, figure out what you're going to do, or even be involved if you want to change something as well. Let's talk about consent. Consent in our terms, especially from a parent, first off, we need to make sure that you are fully informed. And what that means is fully informed on everything that's going on. It will be written out for you. You will get a copy of everything that we have, and you will know everything that we are going to do in the future and are currently doing for your student. And what makes this consent a little difficult is it has to be agreed upon in writing. So you have to come up to the school. We have to actually sit down with you, and we have to agree that you understand everything in writing. What happens if we can't get a hold of you? So there is some circumstances where we cannot get a hold of a parent, and therefore they cannot provide consent. There are ways around this. If the parent does not respond, and we document it, we have sent emails, we have called you, we have sent letters home, and we have still no response, then we can go through appropriate channels to make sure that your student is not going to lose any of our resources that we are providing them. The other thing is, if parents revoke consent, if you as the parent say, I no longer give consent for this, we should hopefully get together as a meeting, and we will try to find a mediator or some type of mediation technique in which we can hopefully get on the same page and figure out what is best for your child, and hopefully both agree to it. And then that way we can hopefully get that consent in writing and that you agree to it. Let's talk about the IEP team meetings. Very essential to your student and to their success at school. So we'd really like to have both parents there if possible. Both parents play a role in this child's life, and we'd really like to have both parents there so we can get two sides to this child, and just so that both parents are on the same page. We will be providing purpose, date, time, and location of these meetings in advance. That way, you as a parent know exactly what we're going to go over in the meeting, where it's going to be, what time it's going to be, and location. That way you can agree upon these in advance, and that way hopefully we can get both parents there. If there are any changes to that, you will be notified in advance, and it will not be sprung upon you hopefully the day before. In regards to attendance, who shows up to these meetings and who comes into them, the school and you as the parent have the right to bring people into this meeting. The school will bring people in that they feel can add input on the child's education, and you as the parent will receive a list of these people in advance. That way you know who's going to be there, and you as the parent also have the opportunity to provide us with people that you feel can also input on the child's education, maybe from the outside perspective of the educational system. And then last but not least, it is about the student. So the student will be there, and you in advance will be given meeting goals. So what we're going to do, whether it's post-secondary discussions or whether it's secondary discussions, you will be given those in advance so that you know exactly what we're going to try to go over during these meetings. That way we're not bombarding you with new information during the meetings. As far as gifted students go, special education services are not compulsory for children who are gifted. However, a IEP team can be set up to talk about services that we can provide to children with gifted qualities, and that way you as the parent can see them, and if we're agreed upon and the parent gives consent, we can also provide these services to those students. Again, the reason why parents have rights is because we do believe that in this system, some things get pushed by the wayside, and our goal as a school is to make sure that you as the parent are as comfortable with your child's education as we are, and that we're both on the same page fighting for that child. So you at the beginning of each year are giving a pamphlet of your rights each school year, and I recommend that you guys all read through them. If you have any questions about them, come to the school and ask, and hopefully by the end of your child's educational career, not only are you happy with the services that we provided, but you also feel like you played a role in your child's education. Thank you.